With the devastating defeat of the Labyrinth Master, our boy has finally managed to beat the highest difficulty level in this game, a game known as Abyss of the Labyrinth. The whole speedrun, absolutely exhilarating for him, all thanks to the intense challenge this higher difficulty threw his way, and the fact that it was his own critical thinking, his own strategy that led him to victory. Yeah, he's on cloud nine. Now, he's getting so full of himself, he's already planning to build a whole career out of it, uploading strategy videos on YouTube like he's the next god tier pro. But then, just as the screen fades, another difficulty unlocks. Only this time, the game throws out something completely unprecedented. Developer difficulty. Before diving in, he's given the chance to pick a new special ability, something he's never even seen before. Being the mage class lover he is, of course he picks mage again. Only difference? This time he dumps all his stat points into one attribute: intelligence. He hits confirm. And suddenly, a blinding light envelops the apartment building. Next thing he knows, he's getting grilled by some random-ass NPC. Dude doesn't even remember snorting anything, so why the hell is he hallucinating? But this ain't no trip, because the NPC throws him down hard enough to cause real pain. And that pain? It's the wake-up call. This is real. His neck's chained up, just like the rest of the slaves lined up near the portal. And up on that stage, some old man starts dropping context bombs left and right. Everyone here's a criminal. Everyone's been given a wand, and they're all expected to enter the labyrinth. Why? Because the labyrinth offers a shot at redemption. Make it out alive, and the money you earn inside buys your freedom. You even get a shot at joining the guy's magic academy. But our boy, he knows this scenario way too well. Too well to feel anything remotely close to comfortable. Because it's the same damn game. Only now, he's stuck in it, with no way out. The entry process starts. 4 of them, grouped together, get shoved through a terrifying tunnel. The air is thick with dread. And while everyone else is shuddering in fear, our boy is still asking himself, how the hell did I end up in this shitty situation? He checks his body. It's Calum, the same character he created himself. And the scariest part? This place, this no man's land they're standing in, is crawling with monsters. Big ones, small ones, doesn't matter. Every last one of them wants a bite of human meat. If he doesn't figure something out fast, he's dead. So he starts gauging the squad. One's a scared fat dude. The other looks like a damn molester. And the elf girl? She's the type to hide behind the MC the moment trouble shows up. It's a squad of oddballs. But that creepy molester guy? He definitely takes the cake with that weird-ass laughter. Our boy's pretty sure they're all doomed. Still, he tries to rally them. Give them a sliver of hope. Tell them they might survive. If they stop panicking. But of course, the fatty breaks ranks, bolts like a wild kid on a sugar high. Calum already knows what's coming. Cue the growling. Cue the spear slicing through flesh. A green, hairless bastard ends the fat one in a flash. Molester guy doesn't even get to fight. Spear to the skull. Gone, just like that. Only the elf girl's left. She drops to her knees, watching brains splatter across stone. The goblins don't even give them a second to grieve. They're already charging again. This isn't how it was supposed to go. A goblin leaps, its blade just nanoseconds away from slicing through Calum's neck. And then, time stops. A miracle. No, plot armor. Actually, it's the ability he got after clearing the last level. Freeze time, 60 seconds. Everything halts, even the goblin in mid-swing. Calum stares at the blade hanging right over his neck. Barely escaped death. But time's ticking, and there's a catch. Every move costs 1 action point. 3 moves, and time resumes. He's already lost 1 just by lifting his wand to block. He's stuck, not enough to dodge, not enough to counter. Then, he realizes something. Speaking doesn't cost action points. He can cast spells with his voice. So, he uses 2 more points to lift the wand. And with his final point, fireball! Time resumes. And the fireball explodes into existence. Flames erupt everywhere. Every enemy in range, incinerated. The elf girl just stares, shaking, in awe. The threat's neutralized. For now. But damn, that blade came close. Bro genuinely thought he was about to meet the heavens. He's just glad he didn't die like those 2 dumbasses. Panic gets you killed. And everything so far? Exactly how it played out in the game. Which means If this world runs by game rules, then no one knows how to beat it better than he does. He's gonna make it out. He knows it. He crawls to the bodies, loots them. They won't be needing that gear. Then turns to the timid elf girl, who's still trembling. He asks what spell her wand uses. She stammers, says it's lightning shock, but she panicked, didn't use it. He figured she was a lost cause, but hey, something's better than nothing. He gives her a quick lecture, tells her if she freezes again, they're both dead. Time to move. Time to find the exit. He doesn't care if it's gods or devs pulling the strings. He's gonna flex every bit of game knowledge he has and make it through. Years ago, the labyrinth changed. A violent eruption tore through its structure, monsters poured out, mages and adventurers were slaughtered. Now, the labyrinth is training a new class of fighters, the exploration mages. The system is simple. Throw a slave in the labyrinth. If they survive, they're free. However, even though Callum knows about the original game's flow, he hasn't confirmed yet if this world follows the same logic. So, he stays sharp, focused. His newest partner, the elf girl, introduces herself as Yrniel and thanks him for all his support. Both of them travel along, and Yrniel curiously asks about Callum's composed demeanor, especially considering that he talked to people back on the slave ship. That question? It hits like a lightning bolt, because it means the people on the ship already know about his real identity. Now he's got to be even more careful. The elf rattles on, revealing she was raised in a fairy forest. Her backstory? It's rough. The poor girl took up an errand job, not realizing it was secretly a drug-dealing business. Apparently, this chick was cooking meth with Walter White. Long story short, she got framed and couldn't pay the fine. And just like that, straight into slavery. Hilariously, our boy doesn't appreciate her continuous yapping, even though he knows she's only doing it to distract herself from fear. He tells her to stay quiet for a moment. Then it happens. A sudden system notification. A 60-second countdown. But here's the kicker. Callum thinks he triggered a trap, activating his time-freezing ability. Except, the countdown keeps going. While everything's frozen, he uses the moment to analyze the situation. Generally, traps on the first floor are infamous for using walls as weapons. Good news, no problems on Yrniel's side. She didn't hit anything. Callum checks his wall, spends one action point, nothing there either. Ceiling? Looks clear. With those eliminated, the trap likely lies in the floor. Let's break it down. There are 4 major types of floor traps on the first level. First up, the classic, rising spike trap. Straightforward, deadly. Second, the detonating nail bomb, think grenade, but with nails. Third is the gas trap, puts you to sleep, leaves you monster chow. Fourth, the pit trap, drops you straight into floor 2. No recovery. Now here's the twist. His hourglass ability wouldn't have triggered unless it detected a real threat. Which means the spikes? Off the table. They're not fatal enough. But while he's deep in thought, the clock's running down. 5 seconds left, he's out of time. Callum makes a choice, lifts his foot and slams it down on another block. Just in time, too. His turn ends, action points spent, cooldown starts, and yeah, the clumsy elf trips over him. Except it wasn't an accident. Callum just saved her life. He reveals that she stepped on the trap. The nail bomb. The moment he moves, nails explode. Serious injuries? That's why he swapped positions with her. The trap's pressure-based. It needs weight. Yrniel's freaking out now, panicking. Callum reminds her of the barrel they passed earlier. She remembers. He tells her to run and get it. Fast. She dashes off, promising to return. While she's gone, Callum reflects. Every trap has a counter. For pressure mines, a heavy object will do. He figures 10 minutes tops before she's back. But it's been 30. No sign of her. Now he's worried. If she gets caught in another trap, she's toast. And Callum probably ends up with 10 holes in his chest. Fear creeps in. What if she's dead? What if his act of selflessness doomed him instead? Thankfully, the clumsy elf returns, barrel in hand. Or more like, she's dragging the damn thing. It's heavy. That's why she took her sweet time. Callum doesn't care anymore. He's just glad he's not going to die. They use the barrel to swap places. Callum then uses his wand, telekinesis. He lifts the barrel, moves it over the pressure plate, and boom! Detonates the trap. Huge explosion. Yrniel's jaw drops. She's speechless. Callum lives. Again. After all this, Callum decides it's time to take monsters and traps seriously. But here's the silver lining. His hourglass magic lets him distribute 10 stat points. For now, he throws them all into intelligence. If he plays it right, he can always stay one step ahead. But it's not perfect. He can't control when the ability activates. It only triggers after a life-threatening moment. And every spell cast burns action points. While he's deep in his thoughts, two goblins pop up, perfect test subjects. Calum smirks, let's dance. Hourglass triggers. First move, Fireball, 1 action point spent. Spells on a 5-second cooldown. When it ends, he casts again, second Fireball. Another point gone. His turn ends. Both fireballs hit, obliterate the goblins. Their bodies? Cooked. Calum theorizes, max damage potential equals 4 fireballs per turn. The elf? Absolutely swooning. She points out how he casts fast, and without incantations. She feels useless. Apologizes for being dead weight. He agrees. Kind of. But hey, she's an elf. She's got potential. He asks about her jump height. She says 4 meters. Bro's shocked. This girl qualifies for the WNBA. She's got Michael Jordan hops. Her agility stat must be insane. To test her further, Calum hands her a bow from a dead goblin. Turns out, she's used one before. She loved archery in the fairy forest. Now she's got a role. She's happy to be useful. Calum? Not so lucky. All he's got is a growing wand collection. Dude's about to become General Grievous. Suddenly, tension spikes. Yrniel senses something. Calum turns. Nothing. Too dark to see. He thinks she's joking, but she explains she heard something far off. That sparks a thought. She's an elf. Heightened senses. He tells her to close her eyes. She's confused, but obeys. Calum tosses stones into the distance. Asks her how many. Where? Yrniel nails it. Exact number, exact location. She's got a unique skill. Sound mapping. Then he asks, how many people are following us? Her answer? 4. That's bad. Really bad. They're outnumbered. Calum knows this could get ugly, so he chooses stealth. Tells her to run. They hide. The two of them sneak around the corner, waiting, a puddle between them and the enemy's path. Footsteps approach. Calum and Yrniel brace. Then, Calum steps out, face to face with the enemy. He demands they stop, asks why they're tailing them. The leader? Bald. Cold stare. Says they don't care about Calum. They want the elf girl. She's their target. The party's full of creeps. They demand Yrniel. Say if Calum wants to live, he better hand her over. Both Yrniel and Calum ready their weapons. One guy laughs. Says they're wasting time. His shield can block low-tier magic. Even bows. He mocks Calum. Says don't even try chanting. They'll kill him before he finishes a single line. From the looks of things, these guys are pretty damn confident in their ability to take them down. The numbers are on their side, so the bald head leader suggests forming a large party involving the elf. However, these disgusting men have their own plans for Yrniel after she joins the party. In fact, the scumbag party leader is salivating at the thought of it. Let's turn to the side of our heroes. The poor elf is quivering for support, wondering what Calum's got up his sleeve. Meanwhile, our boy is currently reflecting on the situation, how he's never going to follow through with the idea of sacrificing Yrniel. With just one look, he's able to infer what kind of men they are. It's far too risky to involve them in a party too. So our boy finally breaks his silence, threatening to kill them if they don't fudge off at once. Hearing him finally take a stance gives the elf some assurance that our boy's got something planned. However, the enemy leader doesn't view his empty threat as anything to be afraid of. Kaleem emphasizes that he stands by what he said. Hearing that, the opposing party leader realizes that there's only one option left then. He orders his men to kill the mage at once. That's when the hourglass system kicks into motion, initiating the deciding factor of 60 seconds in which our boy will make the winning move. With the countdown started, the mage quickly thinks of the current situation. He understands that maybe his opponents have underestimated his usage of 2 wands, treating him as a defensive mage at best. However, that assumption will be their own undoing, as Calum is going to use that to his advantage and annihilate the shit out of these fuckers. First off, he targets the puddle just underneath the party's feet. With a touch of the lightning-type spell called Lightning Shock, Calum should be able to electrocute at least one of them with a powerful stun. Top it off with the water, and it's possible for him to take them all out in one blow. Investing his first energy block into his first spell, Calum unleashes the Lighting Surge ability, quickly targeting the puddle underneath. With the lighting already underway, his next initiative is to get rid of the shield, rendering his enemies completely defenseless and easy to kill. So for his second energy cast, he releases the Uchiha clan's fireball jutsu from Naruto. The turn hasn't finished just yet. With 2 spell castings underway, he still has more than enough time to think of the rest of his moves. For his third spend, he targets the bald guy. In other words, the douchebag leader of the party. And that's how he ended up expiring all of his energy blocks by releasing a bunch of fireballs, as well as a lightning shock spell to completely obliterate his enemies. The spells kick into overdrive. The lightning shock stuns all 4 of these bastards for a good minute. With the initial stun finished, the party leader is defenseless because he's just dropped his shield and weapons. Now the incoming fireball makes its way, bursting into the puddle and unleashing a blinding vapor. With the party leader completely confused and isolated, the remaining fireball specifically comes targeting his head. An enormous explosion blows out with the spell, detonating at last. Right away, our boy signals the elf to make her move and unleash her arrows. The elf doesn't hesitate for a split second and releases the arrow into the blind vapor. Even though the steam is difficult to see through, Yurnell's unique advantage to sound map the area gives her an easy edge to aim without any problems. Callum directs her to keep on shooting among the steam, while he quickly thinks of his next move. The problem is, he's currently on a cooldown. And if the elf hasn't taken out at least one of those men with her arrows, they'll be in deep trouble by the time the enemy party unleashes its counterattack. Our boy is damn near certain that the bald head ended up getting struck by the fireball, which only leaves his underlings to deal with. The scene grows tense by every moment as the cooldown timer takes its time to replenish, causing Callum severe anxiety. He quickly turns to the elf, instructing her to target the warrior while he's charging up his powers. But to his utter shock, he is baffled to learn that Ernil has already killed them all. It doesn't make sense because she only shot 2 arrows at best. The veil of mystery is lifted at last, when the steam settles out and the corpses of the party members are made visible. They've been brutally slaughtered thanks to the arrows hitting all of their fatal spots. This elf was able to somehow manage a triple kill with just 2 arrows, showing her incredible talent when applied correctly. So much so that even our boy is starting to feel afraid of the innocent elf. Ernil expresses that she felt the same fear. It's just that she tried really hard to make that shot connect. Anyway, the bald head ended up surviving. But the same can't be said for his hands, as they blew out in an effort to block the fireball. The scumbag is whimpering in pain. His previous arrogance has been replaced with fear and curiosity as he questions the mage's true identity. The fact that Calum casted magic without even issuing a single chant strikes him speechless. To see an overpowered mage like him in a place like this, the party leader is baffled at what someone like him is doing here. The same guy who was gooning to the thought of obtaining the elf for himself is now out here preaching out about the unfairness of this world. Calum gives him a reality check that it's the bald head's own fault for doing reckless shit in the dungeon. In response, the party leader roars at him for even suggesting the idea that they came to this dungeon willingly. His personal story is also a bit sad, as he was expelled for not having any magic abilities and was sold into slavery, leaving him little choice in the matter. In the end, it pisses him off that Calum has an absurd amount of magic talent, because if he possessed it instead of our boy, his life wouldn't have ended up as a dog's death. As he's spouting about the cruelty of life, our boy simply stares him down with cold eyes. Even Yurnell doesn't know what to do, and apologizes for having killed the men with her weapon. Calum reminds her that an apology isn't necessary as they did what was necessary in order to survive in the dungeon. He also understands that it's her first ever battle. And not just that, Yurnell even presses on that she's never tried killing someone before this. The mage assures her that he's also never used magic on someone else before this situation, but it's something they both have to get used to in order to survive. With that cleared out, he wants to make a thorough inspection of the opposing party's loot to collect any resources. By the way, Calum is personally confused about his unnatural calmness, even though it's the first time he's killed someone. If it happened in the real world, he would be having a proper breakdown questioning reality. But right now, it's almost like none of those details even matter. It's like a fake reality world to him, where the consequences aren't real, so it doesn't affect him much. Remember when he faced off those hungry goblins? That was the first time he realized that he was going to die. And now, the reverse has happened. His mental strength has grown stronger and sharper to adapt to intense situations. He takes a moment to observe the environment, addressing the disgusting smell of blood and the incinerated flesh of his enemies. One thing's for certain, he'll never get used to this kind of setting. Anyway, the elf returns to our boy with a bunch of stuff. She's found a nice backpack, but apparently they don't know what it's about. The elf assumes that it must be a stolen item from another adventurer. They go on to discover a whole bunch of different items from the bag, but the most important of them all is the adventurer's identity card. The person is called Abyssin, and it appears that they have an F rank evaluation for their skills at the Labyrinth Guild. Urinal suspects that Abyssin shouldn't be related to any of the 4 idiots they just defeated, meaning the bag belongs to him, and that it's possible that he's already dead. Our boy believes it's also possible for Abyssin to have been left behind all on his own to die. He does remember that the game sequence offered a ton of different possibilities to die. Let's talk about the bald head again. From a general observation, it can be said that this guy is making the best use of his combat and positioning. The bald head's biggest downfall is that he was unready for our boy's brilliant strategy to use his spells. The thing is, Callum believes that if their positions were switched, even he wouldn't be able to fend off a strategy like that. Basically, he's trying to emphasize the point that he's just one terrible situation away from ending up dead, because it's the hourglass magic that is responsible for covering his shortcomings. The mage doesn't like the idea of relying on pure luck to navigate the dungeon ahead, because then it's only a matter of time until he meets his match. He signals the elf to get the move on, and also makes a declaration in his heart. This time, he'll plan out everything with a strategy that is devoid of any flaws, because it's not just a game anymore. His very own life is on the line.